Yes. So the first question is question number 6. As we can see here, a point object O is placed in front of a glass rod having a spherical end of radius of curvature 30 centimeter. The image would be formed at what? 30 centimeter left, infinity 1 centimeter to right. So for this question, we have to know a basic formula. So without formula, we cannot proceed for this question. So the formula is very simple. There is nothing mu2 by v minus mu1 by u, where v is the image distance and u is object distance, as we all know, is equal to what? Mu2 minus mu1 by r, the radius. So this is the formula used, correct? And mu1, that is out of the air, we should know it as 1, and mu2, that of the glass, 1.5. So this is again two prerequisite, correct? And u is our what? Object. Is u the object distance or image? U is always the object distance, so it is towards the left. So if it is on the left hand side, correct? So if I take x and y axis here, so towards the left, obviously it is what? Negative, correct? So that of the air part, what is it? Towards the negative 15. So u is what? Minus 15. So that information also I should write here. U is equal to minus 50. Okay, and v is something we have to find out from the question, the image distance. R is also given in the question, that is 30. Correct? So R is what? 30. That also we should know. R is towards the right hand side, correct? So it is plus 30. R is also plus 30 here. So these are the few things we have to know before doing this particular question. So I'd just simply substitute the formula here, correct? Mu2 by v, that is nothing but what? What is my mu2? Mu2 is nothing but 1.5. So I'll substitute everything. So 1.5 by v minus mu1 is what? 1 by u is minus 15. Correct? Mu2 minus mu1. So that is nothing but what? 1.5 minus 1 by r. My r is plus 30. So I told you what is the reason why you are taking 30 and everything. So while solving this, we'll get what? V value as minus 15. Suppose if it is minus, again, we have to just take the small graphs here. If we are getting the value as minus, it is towards the left hand side, correct? Yes, it is towards the left. Negative sign shows that what? Yes, it is towards the left. Positive sign towards the right. Okay, so I can clearly mark the answer here as option A, 30 centimeter to the left for the question number 6. So I'll just give you 2 minutes to just copy down this thing, and later on I'll be giving the paper for solve. Yeah. So let me go to the next one. A most important question of today's. Okay, this is the most important question which I want. So everyone, I want to be giving the full attention to this. Two simple harmonic motions are represented by, they're given two equations. So if I am seeing this equation as a student, obviously I'll get a heart attack. Okay, fine. But actually speaking, this is a class 11 topic, and class 11 topics are said to be direct question. So there is only one prerequisite for us. We have to know the function, harmonic function. All the function is what? Y is equal to what? F of x, correct? Is equal to a sine omega t, or it can be what? A cos omega t. So if you ask me what is this A is nothing but what? The amplitude or height. Amplitude or height. So a harmonic function can be either sine or cos. Omega t, due to the angular velocity, correct? Omega has got a lot of meaning: angular acceleration, angular velocity, correct? So a lot of meaning is there for the omega. So omega I cannot specify on one particular thing. But for our question in this, especially they asked us to find what the ratio of their amplitude, correct? So basically, what is my y? My y is nothing but a sine omega t. Okay, for the second equation, it is showing a2. This is a1 and this is a2. Okay, so this is showing sine of a2 sine omega t. That is fine. But what about our first equation? It is something like sine x plus root 3 cos y or something like that. Correct? I have to bring it to this form. Y is equal to a sine omega t or a cos omega t. Why I have to bring it to this form? Because I have to find the ratio of their amplitude. A1 by A2 I have to find. It's a very easy question. Okay, so these kind of questions are not at all a threat for us. Okay, so for the second one, it's very easy that I can get it directly. But for the first one, I'll write down that thing. Yes, y1 is equal to, they're given us 5 into sine 2 pi t plus root 3 cos 2 pi t respectively. Yes, I have to use some trigonometric function here. Correct? So directly I can put it here. So I have, if I want, I can multiply and divide by 2. So if I multiply and divide by 2 in this equation, multiply and divide by 2. So I'll write here 10, multiplying this thing, and I'll write here half of sine what 2 pi t plus root 3 by 2 cos 2 pi t. So now it's very easy for me to do it. In the sense, what is 1 by 2? 1 by 2 I can write it as what? Cos 60. Correct? 1 by 2 I can write it as cos 60. So 10 into 1 by 2 I'll write it as cos 60. So that is cos pi by 3. And sine 2 pi t I'll write it like that. And what about root 3 by 2? I can write it as sine 60. Sine pi by 3 into cos 2 pi t. Correct? So what is the formula of this? So what is this giving us as? 10 into sine of 2 pi t plus pi by 3. That's it. But for me, I'm least bothered about what is there here. The most important thing for me is what? The 10. Because for me, it is always finding about the amplitude. So A1 value I got. A1 value is what? 10 I got. A1 value is 10 I got. A2 value already is there, 5, because it is in correct form. Now I have to find just the ratio of their amplitude. So A1 by A2 I have to find. A1 by A2 I have to find. Okay, A1 by A2 is nothing but what? This is 10 and this is 5. So 10 by 5, that is nothing but 2 by 1. So this is nothing but 2:1 respectively. Okay, 2:1 respectively, that's all. Okay, so correct answer is here, option B. So a very simple concept, even if we don't know the simple harmonic motion, we only have to know one formula for this. That is y is equal to a sine omega t. Y is equal to a sine omega t. Okay, so I have to find out this a. I have to find out this a, but it is not given properly here because it is not sine. It has got two functions inside that. Correct? It's a complex thing. So we have to make it into something like either sine or cos or whatever it is. So for that purpose, I'm taking this out. I'm making it half so that I will get in a trigonometric formula based manner. Okay, so once I get it, A2 by A1, I will get it in this. So this is my A1 by A2, the ratio formula. Yeah. So let's come back to the next question. Now let me start from the first. Yeah. All capacitors used in the diagram are identical. Correct. Let me just take with this. And each one of the each is having a capacitance C. Then the effective capacitance between the point A and B is what? Okay. So this is again a very easy question to do. So we know that in capacitance, if it is in what? It is just opposite to that of resistance. Correct. So first thing is I have to redraw the diagram in this. So we can clearly see here, if I want to label it here as, let me label it here, maybe C1, C2, and C3, and let this be around C4, C5, and C6. So capacitor 1, 2, and 3 are in parallel. Correct. Similarly, 4, 5, and 6 are also in parallel. Yes or no? If it is in parallel in capacitor, what will we do? We add. So if capacitors are in parallel, we add. If it is in series, what we'll just do like the resistance. Correct. We'll find the equivalent one, 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3, or whatever it is. Okay. 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. So this is just nothing but in series and parallel. So if I'm adding everything here, and they're telling that they're all identical. So everything is, I can give this here as what, 3C, here also it's 3C. And if it is parallel, what is the answer? 1 by 3C plus 1 by 3C. Correct? Yes, so I can directly mark the answer as 1.5 here. 1.5. Or else we can just do what? Capacitance in series formula is what? 3C into 3C by 3C plus 3C. There is nothing but R1, R2 by R1 plus R2, just like our resistors formula. Correct. So obviously I'll get 1.5C if I do this mathematical calculation. And suppose whatever doubts are there in any pages, if you have missed to take or anything, kindly do not worry. Okay. I'll be sending one more link when the class is over. Fine. Then I'll give you enough time to, or else I'll send you screenshots of everything to all of you, whatever is there in the today's class. No, the screenshots of each and every paper, I'll send it to you. Not this, whatever is in the whiteboard, in case if you missed it. Okay, so don't need to worry about that if you missed anything. That I'll take care. So this is a very easy question, the first one. Yeah. Next one, two identical conducting balls A and B have positive charges Q1 and Q2 respectively, but Q1 not equal to Q2. The balls are brought together so that they touch each other and then kept in the original position. The force between them is what? Okay, so first of all, okay, this is a very easy question. Okay, but a kind of conceptual thing also. Correct? So the force between them, obviously if the charges are not equal, it can never be 0. So option D has been eliminated. Okay. Next thing is what? Less than that before the balls touch, greater than that before the balls touch, same as that before the balls touched. So what we are actually bringing, the balls are brought together so that they touch each other and then kept in their original position. The force between them. So it's clearly, obviously, if two balls are kept so close, and if it is touching, yeah, the force between them will be what? Greater than that of the balls before touched. So we don't need to do any kind of mathematical equation or more of a research and development in this question. This is a common sense question. That's it. Clear? Yeah. And 0, it can never ever happen. So you can directly eliminate it. Less than that, same as that, no. You just think normally we will get it. And the third question is something which is not there in the syllabus at all, but still. Red light of wavelength 625 nanometer is incident normally on an optical diffraction grating with 2 in 10 power 5 lines per meter, including central principal maxima. How many maxima may be observed on a screen? Okay, fine. Which is far from grating. You got the point. So we have to know the formula for these things. So the number of maxima formula is there. So that we have to know for this. The formula required for this. Formula required or formula used. Yes. So first thing is, what is this principal maxima in a grating spectra? Yes. The principal maxima in a grating spectra is what? Sin theta by n equal to what? N lambda. This n is very important for us to find my number of maxima, because number of maxima formula is what? That is what I have to find here. Yes, it is 2n plus 1. So I have to find this n. So in the question, they're given almost everything in this question. You got the point. Correct? Fine. So almost everything they're given in the question. So how do I find this n? So this n is nothing but what? This n is nothing but 1 by lambda capital N. Come back to the question, see the lambda value and everything. Correct? So wavelength, the unit is what? 625 nanometer. Yes. Then the other one is what they're given? 2 into 10 power 5 lines per meter. Correct? So I just substitute these values here. So 1 by lambda. Lambda is nothing but 6.25 into 10 power minus 9. Since it's nanometer, other is 2 into 10 power 5. Correct? So if I do this, I should be getting one answer. So let me do it now. You guys also can try it. Yes. Then we'll be getting one answer. And I would request each and everyone not to use calculator for this, because entrance examination, we cannot use what? Calculator. So kindly avoid calculator for this. Correct? Yeah. So we will be getting something around, I think 800, I think so. We will be getting. But if I'm getting n value as 800, Correct. So N is basically what? N is basically the energy level. So energy level we know as N is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and everything. Correct. More than that, we are not studied up to energy level 800. N is nothing but my principal quantum number, and the value I'm getting it as what? 800. Because if it is 6.25, here what? It is 6. Oh, it is 625, not 6.25. Sorry, my bad. So it is 625. So in the sense I have to multiply by 10 square. Sorry. It is 625. So decimal place I have to erase. So I'll be getting what? I'll be getting around 8. I'll be getting around 8 here. Okay. So if I'm getting N is equal to 8, what is my number of maxima formula? 2 into 8 plus 1. That is 17. 17 is my answer for this. So again, here I took it as 6.25 nanometer. Okay. So that's the reason I got 800. So that's the reason I thought that whether the question is wrong or whatever I did was wrong. But see, again, we have to be very careful with this. So normally in my mind, it went as 6.25 nanometer. So that's the reason I thought why energy level got 800. Then I came back to the question and I found out what it was 625. So 625 I'm getting, I'll be getting as 8. So I had to substitute where this 8 in this 2 and plus 1. So 2 into 8 plus 1 here I done, and I got 17 as the answer for this. The fourth question. A battery of EMF E has an internal resistance, correct? R, a variable resistance R is connected to the terminals of the battery. A current I is drawn from the battery. V is the terminal potential difference. If R alone is gradually reduced to, let me come back here. Yes, to 0, which of the following best describes I and V? That is our question here. Okay, so one more time I'll just read down this question so that I think if I reduce a little bit, I think we can all see properly. Yeah, it is from the fourth one. Correct. A battery of EMF E has an internal resistance. Okay, variable resistance is there. Current is drawn from the battery. V is terminal potential difference. R is alone gradually reduced. Okay, correct. Reduced towards 0. Which of the following best describes I and V? See, first of all, battery which supplies current. Okay, so that cannot be neither 0. So this is gone actually. Okay, it cannot approach 0, neither infinity. We cannot draw infinity current from a battery which has got a specified voltage. Correct. So one is I is equal to V by R. And second thing is V approaching E. E in the sense what? Maximum voltage. If resistance is reduced, okay, if the resistance is gradually reduced. So if I am just taking care of a tube light here, okay, a choke or something is there in the tube light, as we all know. So resistance, what it is gradually allows the current. Because if I just directly allow the current to fully pass through the tube light, it will what? Burst down. If there is an excess current or excess voltage, it will break down. EMF is there. What is EMF? Maximum voltage. If there is a maximum voltage, what will happen? It will break down, obviously. Yes or no? Correct. So if I want to take the simple, or else in the mathematical representation, if I want to give for this, I is equal to V by R, we all know. In this case, what is it? E by R plus R. Correct. E by R plus R. So they are telling that if this R becomes 0, what will happen? It will become what? E by R. Yes or no? correct? Yes. And what is my potential difference in this? V is equal to what? IR. And if this R is 0 here, what will happen? R is 0, what will happen? V will become 0. V does not become equal to E. If I'm taking V as E as the EMF or the maximum voltage, and V as the potential difference, correct? This potential difference does not match to E. It will become what? 0. Okay, so that is the question in this. I approaches what? E by R, and V approaches 0. So simple mathematical calculation for this. Or else if you have got too much knowledge in this, directly we can apply this formula also. So two things in this. Yeah, I think one more resistance kind of problem is here. See, this is again a very direct question. 3 voltmeters A, B, and C, correct, having resistance R, 1.5 R and 3 R respectively, are used in a circuit as shown. When a potential difference is applied between X and Y, the readings of voltmeter are what? So whenever we get a question in an entrance examination, this is a very common question. Okay, kindly remember this. This is a kind of shortcut too. Okay, whenever there is a potential difference between, so suppose they're telling X and Y or A and B, in the question they can just change the variables. Instead of X and Y, they can give A and B, whatever may be the middle term here. And if they're putting the what the potential the readings of the voltmeter, correct, V1, V2 and V3. So V1 in the sense here somewhere, V2 and V3, and this is nothing but my R, then internal resistance here 1.5 R, and this is my 3R respectively. So this is the question here. So what will be the reading? So always please note that in KCET or most of the entrance examination, the voltage reading will be same only. We need not do anything. If you want, you can make some time. You can do it. You can put the branch currents as what this is the major one I. Then you can split it as what I1 and I2, and you can do it. But mostly in this kind of questions, please remember this is only applicable to what? 3 voltmeter type. So the same thing, why I am able to tell you is because in engineering also, you got something called 3 watt meter type. 3 watt meter, 2 watt meter, that you will study in your basic electrical engineering in your first semester or second semester, depending upon the physics or chemistry cycle. Same kind of questions is there. Okay, in this. Clear?